Hello there, welcome to another episode of A Date with Kiki. A Date with Kiki is a show that opens everyone up to the inner world of men. The purpose of A Date with Kiki is to give men a platform to reform the world's view about the male gender, mentor each other across the globe, and give clarity to questions fellow men, boys, or anyone could be asking about men. And today I've got with me on set, I call him Ade the comedian. Ade, my friend, or whatever you want to call him. But yes, I've got with me on set today, Ade, and he's here to talk about, growing up with special needs. Ade is a warrior who is currently working with, to empower people growing with sickle cell anemia and to create awareness about it on how to help them. As Ade is also a stand-up comedian and a father of 2 adorable children. Welcome to A Date with Kiki, Ade.
Thank you, Kiki.
Thank you so much. I know you drove a long way to be here, and I'm so grateful.
No, it's finally good to be seen on the screen with you.
Exactly.
But I was expecting a plate of jollof rice now.
Ade, we are not on stand-up comedy.
We are on a date now.
We're on a date, exactly. Don't worry. We'll deal with jollof rice later. Thank you once again. Thank you so much for coming. Today we're going to be talking about growing up with special needs. So some people it's sickle cell, for some people it's what's it called, autism and all of those things. Yeah. You were a child who grew up with sickle cell anemia, and we call you people the warrior, right? Okay. Yeah, I like that because yes, these guys are fighters. I have experience with a few of them, and you guys are fighters. And I say, well done for all you do. Well done for the awareness you're creating.
Thank you very much.
So, is there anything I've missed introducing you that you want to mention?
No, you've actually done it very, very well. And like you said, as a child, I was growing up living with sickle cell. And sickle cell basically is a blood disorder that affects our body. And when there's not enough oxygen going into our system, that will clog up in our blood vein and then start giving us pain and pain called crisis. So as a child growing up in Nigeria, that was a bit tough for me, especially when you don't have the means and needs. Like if you're rich, you can easily get to the hospital. So we have to grow up on herbal medicine and stuff like that to manage it. And yeah, growing up with a child living with that condition, I've been in a lot of pain and I've been a lot of places, like, churches and places so that you could get better, because growing up in Nigeria with sickle cell is such a taboo. Like they look at us as a
cursed child and all of those silly
witchcraft
things.
baby.
Yeah.
So it's tough growing up in an environment like that to then come to the United Kingdom, which shows us the more information they have about living with the condition. For example, like when you're sick, they will come to your house and get you with an ambulance, take you to the hospital.
Sorry, before we go into all of that, I'd just like to find out, at what point was it discovered that you had sickle cell anemia?
Well, I think my mom she knew straight from birth.
Okay.
So she still decided to keep me, but my dad was like, he wasn't too sure about it, but my mom went ahead, and I'm glad that she made the right decision about it. And I discovered it when I was about 6 years old, when I had my first serious crisis, and it was a very painful experience for me. So from then, my mom explained things to me that, yeah, this is what you're gonna go through in life, but when I'm here with you, we fight through.
Bless her, bless her. So, growing up in Nigeria, you said, so just to mention something about your dad saying, Mom, to your mom, I don't know about it. How was it? What role did dad play in? Because, like you said, it was a very painful experience. Yeah. You're always in pain. Having a dad around you, you had a dad. Yeah. What role did dad play in helping you with this pain and growing up? And because I bet at some point it would have affected your confidence as a boy as well.
Yeah, me and my dad has a really close relationship, but when it comes to me being sick, he doesn't really like to see that. But I remember much experience that I have with him is him praying for me and I'm falling asleep on his lap and stuff like that. And so that kind of, because when it comes to men, we're more, a bit emotional when it comes to stuff like this, where somebody is healed. So he doesn't like to show his emotion. He just want to be like, I'm tough.
That's exactly where I'm going to. You know, around how Dad helped, because I know that a lot of our men do not show the emotions, and this is a sick child. So how did he manage the emotions? You said earlier on sometimes he would pray for you, which is what he believed in.
Yeah.
So how did you see him manage his emotions, and did that help you in any way?
Yeah, whenever he prays for me, I feel at peace and I feel calm, because I kind of understand. My mom is more the kind of serious part of things. So when Daddy can take that emotion bit no more,
Mom
he hands me over to Mom. And Mom she's strong. She's a warrior herself. So she's a soldier. She's always laying me know, like, I know you're feeling this pain. I'm not gonna treat you any way different from your other brothers, and you know. And
I'm sure that builds your confidence that
yes,
I might be going through this pain, but I'm a human being as well, and I've got to be strong.
My mom was really strong, especially you know, because when you have those crises, sometimes you don't feel to eat or drink, but my mom would stand there with a big cane, like, you are drinking this milk and you are eating this egg by force, you know. And she never gave me that pity. You know, like, this child, let me just let him, because all that strong thing that she gave me is helping me today as a man. You know.
Bless Mom.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to point out from what you said is the fact that Dad it gets to some points when you are ill that won't be able to handle it. He just hands you over. But that didn't make it didn't mean that Dad didn't care.
No, I then I didn't understand it, but growing up as a man now I understand, because there was an incident that happened throughout my life. My older brother has never seen me in crisis, because he's always in boarding school and stuff. The first time he saw me in crisis, I actually teared up. Like, he said he didn't know that this is what I go through. You understand? So I understand it from my dad's point of view back then, when he couldn't show all of that, because he doesn't really want to show the, you know, like tears coming out of his eyes, that because his child is sick, and there's nothing that he can do. Like,
I bet severally he had cried behind the doors.
Yeah, behind the doors that I don't know of. But yeah, it's tough as like sometimes having a child with sickle cell can cause problem in relationship with the dad and mom. You understand? So they had a way to manage it and survive through.
Awesome, blessing.
But yeah, I would say Mom done the most of the job. He just went out to go and provide, make sure there's food at home,
and then there's money for medication, and all of that.
But Mom done the hard work.
Okay, now back to you as a young boy that had special needs, that had, you know, was a warrior growing up and all of that. How did it make you feel personally? How do you ever feel were there any stage of self-denial, self-hatred, struggle, and all of those things?
Oh, yes. As a child, you go through a lot of emotion with that. There's a lot of questions that you ask, even to God, like, why me? Why did you? Like, why am I going through this stuff? And people really didn't want to be your friends then, because as a child, my eyes was really yellow, my teeth was out. I looked like what they call kwashoko back then. So, and I was always feeling like I was alienated, because no one wants to be around me. And the only people that I'm actually around with is people that was also sick. Like, maybe somebody that's got something else that I don't know about. And we became friends, and we just running around.
Support each other.
Yeah, support each other and stuff. So as a child, it was really difficult for me, emotionally and spiritually. People don't understand when I go missing from class for 2 weeks, you know, with a crisis and surviving. And then you come back, you look skinny, you look unwell, you look very tired, you know. So all of this thing, and when it comes to running around and playing games with children as well, there's some things that you're allowed to do and some things that you're not allowed to do. I cannot run in the rain like other children or go and play football. By the time I come back home, I'll be having crisis already. So growing up as a child, it was, I think I had to go through it to learn how to manage myself as an adult, you know.
So was it at what point? What was that light bulb moment for you where you said, you know what, I'm no longer going to be defined with this. I'm going to do something about it.
It took me a lot actually. Until I was in university, that's when I decided to stop making it as that's the end of the world. I just woke up one day and I just said to myself, you know what? You have this already. Stop complaining about it.
You got to deal with it.
What are you going to do to make it better? So that's why I stepped out and started doing things and started doing comedy. I love dancing.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll take a break now. We'll take a quick break now. We'll come back to the things you began to do, you know, as you went on. So thank you, viewers, for staying tuned. Please do not change the dial. We'll be back shortly. Hello there, welcome back to Adebisi Kiki. We're still here and I'm still here with Ade, the comedian, who is a warrior that fought sickle cell anemia and is helping people creating awareness about sickle cell anemia. Now, before we went away, I asked Ade a question about the light bulb moment when he felt this is enough, I've got to do something about myself. I can't continue wallowing in this self-pity or denial. And so you said you were in uni when that happened. You just said you just woke up one morning and said, you know what, I've got this, I've got to deal with it any which way. And one of the things you started doing was comedy.
Yeah, I started doing comedy. I started doing
It's music. Funny to say you started doing comedy and started doing music. So what were you talking about when you come off stage and all of that?
Well, because growing up over here in the United Kingdom, I still kept my African accent.
Okay, so at what point did you come to the United Kingdom?
I came to the United Kingdom at the age of 16.
Okay, so you were already a teenager, almost going into uni.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I was originally born here.
Yeah.
I have passport to stay in the country. So I was originally born in here, but I was taken to Nigeria as a baby, which I did 16 years in Nigeria before I came back to the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So I started fresh and then went to university to go do my thing. And that's when I started making people laugh because they said I was funny. But that was not my mission. I was interested in videography and stuff because as a child I've always wanted to see how they did movies. So I went to university to study film studies. So throughout that journey of studying film studies, that's when a lot of people get to see after I said no, I'm not gonna feel pity no more, they start seeing the funny side of me. Okay. I started releasing myself and letting everybody into my life. And then they said, you are funny, you should actually go and be a comedian. So after university and I graduated and I said, okay, it's difficult to get into the film industry over here. What can I do? And I said, I think I'm gonna go become a comedian. And from there the journey has started, and I've been using comedy as an escape way to not think about my sickle cell crisis. Because one of the things that a lot of warriors tend to have is we have that thing there that's always telling us, because you have this, you're not gonna be able to do that. And I'm trying to break that barrier with comedy when I do that.
Okay. And how about the music side of things?
I did music for a while, but comedy was my calling. Okay,
that's good. Well, comedy was what you tend to go for. I would have said you want to sing for us right now, but we've been laughing. It's obvious we're talking about something very serious here. And because Ade is a comedian, he can't help but make us laugh. So we're not taking it lightly. I'm just flowing with Ade, who is a comedian, and is bent on making Kiki laugh on a date with Kiki.
Yeah, but that's the thing about when it comes to me with sickle cell and comedy. A lot of people said, this is a serious matter.
Exactly.
But from my experience, I use that pain into laughter. So that's why I'm trying to let people know that yes, I do know sickle cell is a serious, but we have to see the funny side of things, So yeah,
And
some people
laughter
get
is
it.
good medicine
Yes,
anyway. So
laughter is
yeah,
very
it
good.
really helps.
It's good for me. That's when I have my time to release my problem on stage. When they give me the microphone, I just let it go.
Exactly,
You know.
exactly. And you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
An amazing job.
Thank you.
Now, so my next question, your awareness that you do,
Yeah.
the warriors, what do you do around the awareness? What exactly do you do?
Well, basically, I just try to let people know about the condition and how seriously it can affect us. Like I did a short poem about it, that sickle cell will not define my living, which is basically letting people know that yes, I do go through a lot of stress, depression, and stuff like that. But I don't let that define my life. I try to do the most things that I do by encouraging people to have positive mind about things, and I work with I work with Sickle Cell Society, raising awareness as well, doing a song called Feel My Pain, just to let people know that how I feel inside. That's my music side of things that I did. And now and then I get to visit hospitals and talk about sharing my experience with the condition. So I try as possible to make sickle cell a positive thing, not a negative thing. Because a lot of our warriors don't have the confidence. Some of them don't have the confidence in themselves to see that, yes, you are bigger than that condition. You understand? So they have to wake up from that state that they are now and make something out of themselves.
So what would you say the acceptance has been like?
Acceptance has been since I've been putting my name out there as a comedian. It's been well. I've gone past that stage of whether
I'm accepted or not.
whether you're accepted or not. I'm letting you know, like,
this is who I am.
This is this is
And
now.
got
So
to
whether
flow.
you like it or not, you have to boil a tea.
Okay, now, so let's take what you do, the
Yeah.
awareness you create back home to Africa.
Yeah.
Have you been able to take this back to Africa? How are you influencing, this? Because a lot of our children in Africa are suffering in silence. How are you able to influence what's happening?
Yeah, I've actually
to
got
warriors at home?
a sickle cell foundation that I'm bringing up right now, and my main mission is to have a center where people can come and get their condition checked. Because me, as growing up in Nigeria, I know
The pain.
and the things that they go through. I mean, I've done a couple of shows and stuff in Nigeria, especially in Ogun State and Lagos State. But one thing about when it comes to when I was doing the music, people didn't really want to hear emotional music like that or anything to do with health when I took it back to Nigeria. So that's why I switched to kind of comedy, and hopefully I'll be able to bring my project I'm going to do in Nigeria to raise awareness on that sector of things in Nigeria. But my foundation, I'm still working towards it. It's called Adebisi Oluko Foundation Nigeria. We've donated some money. We've raised some money to them and given them some medications and stuff. Last time I was here, I actually had to pay for somebody's medical bills and stuff like that because they were not. There was a child he came to the meeting, and I can see that he had crisis, but he's not showing it.
Because you've been there, you could see, you could read through.
And the thing about it is that people still have less information about sickle cell, because when we asked his mom what's wrong with him, the mom was still saying, "Oh, he's having his thing, innit?" And that just got to me so bad, because I was thinking, Mom, I can see he's sick, understand?
Yeah,
So that made me to that when I saw him, when I saw the pain in his eye, and I saw me as a child. When I was growing up in Nigeria, I can just see, I was like, this child is very sick. So I asked them, how much is it going to cost to give him, at least he should be fine, because I can see the pain in him. So they went to pay for everything, and it was covered. So I mean, I'm still working towards that now. when I go to Nigeria, I can't say that I'm sending money from here because I don't really.
Even if you send, you're not really feeling what's happening.
Yeah, I have to be there.
To
so
see
that I'm assured that
this is happening.
They pay for this medicine and stuff like that.
So looking at that aspect now, well, we've talked to you're talking about Nigerian because obviously you're Nigerian, or you're originally a Nigerian, or you grew up in Nigeria because you're British. But I'm hoping that with time this will also go into other parts of Africa.
Yeah,
this awareness.
Yeah, definitely. It's not only just Nigeria. My plan with my comedy is work towards it to make something out of it. Then if I can financially afford to be able to travel all over Africa, I'll do it. To share my stories and to share my experiences.
So now, looking at some of us who haven't got these experiences, or we don't know. I've got cousins who are warriors, or who were warriors now. But looking at somebody who really doesn't understand this, how do we support this cause? How do we support warriors? I mean, people fighting sickle cell anemias.
What we need is basically people to check up on us and care for us, and love and caring. If you need any information regarding sickle cell, just go to the Sickle Cell Society. They should be able to give you directions and where to go, especially in the UK here. There's help out there but you as an individual, speak to them, find out how they're feeling, check on them.
Don't just walk past somebody who is in crisis.
Just check up on them. They need friends. Sometimes we can feel alone, and sometimes when we have crisis, we want to be alone. You understand? So these things that we deal with as patient, as a warrior, there's so much to it than just what can we do to help you. And also, if you can donate blood, that's also help, because there's some patients that have blood exchange regularly. So if you can donate blood, that will be helpful, especially for sickle cell warriors. Small things. And if there's any people that wants to donate money, I don't have that. I haven't set up my foundation yet to be able to do that.
But there's a sickle cell society where we can do all of that. And I like the one you talked about, donating blood. Something as simple as that. We can do to save a life. Adi, thank you so much for coming on A Date with Kiki. We've learned a lot here, and I'm sure we've all picked up one thing or the other we can do to support a child, an adult, anyone around you that is going, struggling with sickle cell anemia. And I don't want us to limit it to sickle cell anemia. It's basically being able to support somebody with special needs. It could be autism. Sometimes you're on the train and you see a child who is struggling with autism, and then we make the child our center of focus, gazing, all those things. I think we need to begin to walk around it and show more empathy around when we're around this kind of people, and show them love. They're people, they didn't choose to be there themselves. Thank you very much, Adi.
Thank you for
coming on A Date with Kiki. Thank you, folks. Thank you for staying tuned. I'm sure you've learned a lot. I'll be back again with my new guest next week. Thank you. Bye.